hello, hello. It is 1 o'clock, which means it is time for a little thinking. We're going to stop the doing and do a little thinking today for our Peer Talk. My name is Denise Killian, and I am with Trainertainment and the Growth Pro. And we are thrilled to have you here as people are joining because it is just 1 o'clock on the dot. We're going to take a little bit of time before we get started fully, but we are thrilled to have everyone here and looking forward to the conversations that we're going to have today. We've got some folks that have some great stories to share about how you make your job right now into a career. And it's something that we find quite passionate here. We've all had different stories and different paths that have led us to where we are. And so we thought that this would be a great time to really sit down and think about what it takes to make that turn from that part-time job, or maybe even your very first job. How do you make that into a career? We've got several peer talks throughout the year here with Trainertainment and the Growth Pro. We've already talked about recruiting and hiring. We've talked about marketing promotions. Today, of course, we're talking about making a career into our industry. And then in November, we're going to do that thing that everybody dreads, but oh my goodness, it's so important. And that's the performance management. And how do we make sure that we're keeping our teams engaged and moving forward through the process? So we're thrilled for that. That's on November 13th. So make sure that you mark your calendar for that. We certainly want to thank our sponsors because without our sponsors, we couldn't do what we do here at Trainertainment and the Growth Pro. And we have some of those sponsors here with us today. So I'm excited for you to have the opportunity to meet them. Of course, we've got Betson, we've got A&A Global, Embed, Simnox, Roller, and Playthrough Sports, our sponsors for our 2025 digital content, which includes Peer Talks like we have today, as well as our weekly Think Tank Thursdays. So we're thrilled to have them, and let's go ahead. By the way, I'm Denise Killian. Of course, I mentioned that in the beginning. I'm a coach here with Trainertainment and the Growth Pro. Started, let's go ahead and meet the panelists. All right, so we'll begin. I already introduced myself. Let's begin with, we're going to start off with Miss Vicki Peak, who is joining us from Nichols and Dobbs Incorporated. Vicki, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I joined Nichols and Dimes in 1985, so I've been around the industry for a very long time. I've seen the evolution and the growth, and I lucked into it. Came fresh out of college and needed a job. But now I've progressed up through the ranks, and I'm the senior director of operations. So it's been a good ride.
It's amazing. I can't wait to really dig into that, Vicki, because it's just a fascinating story. And when you really sit and think about it in today's world, not many people can say that they've worked for a company for 39 years. So that is incredibly remarkable, and can't wait to dive into your story. All right, Joe, we have Joe from Betson. Joe, tell us about yourself.
Yep. Hey, everybody. Joe Herbert, Betson. I am based in Orlando. I head up the Southeast for Betson in sales, of course, overseeing the Marietta warehouse as well as Orlando. Coming up on 10 years. So I'm getting my tenure there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. We're excited to hear your insights and your thoughts. We also have Kevin Copeman. Hello, Kevin from Simnox.
Hello. My name's Kevin. I am a sales partner with Simnox, but prior to that, I worked 15 years as senior director for operations with Main Event Entertainment. And before that, I opened up international franchisees with Applebee's International. So I've been in the hospitality business now for almost 35 years and still growing and still going.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. We're excited to hear your thought. I mean, a lot of people don't think about starting a job and having an opportunity to go international and travel around the world. So you've got some great insights that you're going to share with us. I'm excited to hear those as well. We also have the fabulous and wonderful Keitha McBride with ANA Global. Hello, Miss Keitha.
So my little elevator speech here. So I started with Dave and Buster's in '89, and I was at the store level for 5 years. I left to finish college and had another buying job out of the industry. And then I started as their buyer in 1996 and was there for 7 years. And then just loved every moment of it. Still bleed orange and blue. Just fabulous company. And since then, I've just been in sales and just offering what I can to help our industry partners. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Miss Keitha. You've got a great story as well. And I love that you think about a company like Dave and Buster's and how huge it is now. And when you started, it was a little bit smaller and creating that role, right? Creating the first buyer and growing with the company.
Started, we had 2 locations. And then I came back and then I left and we had 33. So, yeah, it was, I have to, yeah, it's just been just wonderful. I'm passionate about our industry. So, I'm just happy to be here on behalf of ANA.
Wonderful. Well, we're thrilled to have you here as well. And of course, couldn't have this and hold this without the amazing folks at Trainertainment and the Growth Pro. So let's knock it off with Genevieve.
Oh, hello, everyone. Genevieve Sullivan. I'm a coach and training specialist with the Growth Pro Group in Trainertainment. And I have been in family entertainment now for about 2 years with Trainertainment. It was an industry that I did not know that much about before moving into it, but now I see it everywhere. And I actually came from working with college age students, working with 18 to 25-year-olds in a lot of events and programs and activities, worked for the YMCA, actually ran an overnight summer camp, like a residential camp, for a couple of years. And there's a lot of alignment between family entertainment and overnight camping, just in case anyone's wondering, but had the great opportunity to start working for the Growth Pro Group in Trainertainment 2 years ago. But I'm excited to hear everyone's stories in family entertainment and how you all got here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also have Miss Sonia Terry. Hello, Sonia.
Hello. I have been in the industry for about 25 years now. I worked in a center. I started out as a manager, worked my way up. Eventually started overseeing locations all over the US and in Canada. And then what got me in, a friend got me a job. I was in between transition and she's like, oh, you should come be my manager. And I started, and just seeing the smiles on people's faces and the memories that were made, it like just connects you and it's hard to ever get away. It's like there's a connection to your heart. And so after my career there, I came for the last 6 years. I've been with Trainertainment. I'm a coach. And I just love being in the industry and seeing how passionate people are that run these businesses about delivering memories for people in their communities. And so, yeah, I love it. I don't know that I could ever do anything else.
Well, we're thrilled that you're a part of this team. Sonia is fantastic. And listen, Sonia has a particular genius. She can gamify anything. Like, she is a person who talk about making training fun and meetings fun. Sonia's your girl. She has this brilliant mind that is able to be like, take this pen and this piece of paper and this mouse, and we're gonna make a really fun game out of it. Like it's incredible. So if you're looking for how to spruce up your staff meetings, reach out to Sonia. She's brilliant at that. Dan Porter also part of our team. Hello, Dan.
Yes, hello. So I've been at Trainertainment 2 years, very similar to Genevieve, on the sales side as well as coaching. I've learned a lot as far as getting back into the operation of things. Prior to that, I was in the staffing and recruiting world for 15 years as a branch manager And then probably 20 years prior to that, I started when I was 10, of course, did about 20 years in the amusement industry, both in operations as well as a vendor. So a lot of different experiences along the way, and kind of get to put them all together here at Trainertainment.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dan. We love having him on the team. And, I always love that Dan is the guy who sells sales coaching and sells business coaching and sells our services, and makes these relationships with all of our partners and our clients. And it's a really fun thing. So thank you, Dan. So as we get started, I think, the first place to begin is thinking about when you first realized that this part-time job, or the job that you do right out of college, or maybe in your summers, realizing and recognizing this could be a full-time thing. And not just a full-time thing, there could be a growth here, right? I could actually have a career here. And I'd love to start with Vicky because again, I just adore that you've been with the same company for 39 years, which is amazing. But going from, you mentioned you're part-time when you started. What was it that made you realize that that part-time job could become a long-term trajectory?
Well, back then when I started, the industry was just starting to grow. So again, you're looking at different opportunities for opening up stores, things like that. So you see the opportunity, and just while setting up a store is hard work. When you see the people coming in, when you see the expressions on the faces, young and old, young at heart, the joy, it makes you want to participate and stay into the industry. So that was, just when it started to take off, the different chances. Because where I grew up was in a small town in southern Indiana. It's like, oh, do you want to go to Atlantic City, New Jersey? Sure, why not? So there's the chances of the growth, and then moving up as far as because now you're doing different support staff and things like that. So you have managers, and again, you teach and you train your part-timers if they have the attitude, the aptitude to do this, and you see the desire, and again, you see the fire in them that they go above and beyond just to help and please your guests. And you move up to district manager, things like that. So you actually see the growth in the industry and see the growth in the different potential in the company.
Mm-hmm. And it's about, what I'm hearing you say, definitely there's a passion that happens.
Yes.
And I think if you can connect to your passion, you're going to be successful and love your job. It's not going to be a job, right? But also the looking up and taking a moment to pull out of the immediate before you and seeing the bigger picture of what the industry is and seeing those opportunities. Candy Kelly, who's of course our COO at Trainertainment and the Growth Pro, said in the chat that for her, it was the first time she walked into IAPA and realized how many different components it took to make this industry buzz. And from designers to queues to card systems to in-house accounting departments, trainers, marketing, on and on and on. That's when she kind of realized this could be a bigger thing. As you were saying, they called you and said, hey, you're doing this awesome thing. We want to give you another opportunity, a bigger opportunity. And you said yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Christy says in our chat as well, I realized around year 20 that this was my career. So listen, when you're having fun and you're doing the thing and you keep moving forward, and then you look up and you're like, wow, it's been 20 years. I guess this is what I do now. Right. So I love that. I love that, Christy. Thank you for sharing that in the chat as well. So Joe, what about you? What was it that made you realize that this job was in fact a career?
Well, it'd be a couple things, and I totally agree with Candy. I mean, IAPA specifically, but also just like I said, all the different components in it. Once I realized, with the manufacturers, distributors, card systems, and then even specifically more our customers. It's very much a relationship based industry with our counterparts and vendors, but also our customers. So, ultimately, our customer success is our success, and really seeing the passion from everybody on both sides really ended up having me, solidify what I was doing and doing the right thing.
Excuse me, I apologize, everyone. Was there a moment that you kind of, oh, this could be something?
Well, there's so many different times on it, but I didn't mention it as well. It's probably also credit to my company. Humbly and fortunate enough to work for Betson and a family oriented company, and what we do, and just seeing how close everybody is. That probably would have been one of the biggest turning points for me.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Miss Keitha, I love the creation that you were a part of. If you could be in on the ground floor of something as it's expanding, it is banana pants, right? Whether it's starting a new center or buying another center or expanding and expanding, and seeing new opportunities come up. What helped you shift from this is my job, I'm doing my job, to, oh, hey, there's something else. There's something bigger. There's a next step here.
I loved being a server and bartender and just working at the store level and the hospitality piece. But, I had been in college and my mom was like, look, I really want you to finish school. And my degree was already in marketing and merchandising. It was just fashion directed, or fashion focused. And I guess for me, it was more that I stayed in touch with my friends that I had made at Dave and Buster's. And I just felt like, after being there 5 years and, being head of staff um, of the servers, I grew close with the GMs and I was close to actually DMB because we were small. So I had an intimate relationship with both of them. And so when I went back, I just felt like it was somehow gonna be my home, but it was also the first when I went to Dallas, but I grew up in Denton, went to Dallas, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to the restaurant row and I'm going to go to the first spot. And that was to get my job. But then I think it was just the culture. Um, and I'm still friends with people that I worked with years ago. Some of them are still in the industry. We're just in different places. Like you said, Derwin Jordan is on today, and I worked with him. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel so grateful that I worked with one of the first, um, you know, true blue FECs. They kind of were, did a little bit of trailblazing, and they were just magnificent people. I don't know. So it's just all of it just came together. And, like Vicky said and Sonia said, you just kind of can't see yourself anywhere else. Working within any different industry, I would feel out of place.
Mhm.
And I've just
Yeah,
met
no,
some I've made some friends. Just, yeah. So I love it. I love it.
excellent, excellent. So let me ask Kevin, you had the opportunity to do international. And I think I keep using the word opportunity because a lot of times there are opportunities all around us. And sometimes we don't pay attention to them. Sometimes we don't see. Sometimes we're nervous to accept the opportunity when it's given to us. But when you first had the opportunity to, we want you to go all over the world and create these franchises all over the world and be a part of that. What is it, I guess, that you said, yes, I've got to do this?
Well, I was in the military. I was in the Air Force, and I had been stationed in Korea for a year, a very remote part of Korea. And I became really interested in international business at that point. So when I came back to the States, I got a job working at a military hotel, and they sent me back to Korea for a year, and that got me involved in the food and beverage business. So when I came back to the States and I started with Applebee's, I was working at the corporate office in the training department, and I actually approached the president of international division and asked him if he had any openings. So they didn't pursue me, I actually pursued them, which I think when you talk about career and how you build a career, sometimes it's you have to go and chase it down. You have to chase your passion. It doesn't always just fall into your lap. Sometimes it's a matter of being aggressive and developing those relationships with people that can help get you there. So I think that's key in building your career. It's chasing your passion and being relentless in pursuing what you really, really want to do, and not settling for less.
I love that. And there's two things there that I think are two key strategies that you just mentioned, Kevin. And one is chasing it, going after it, right? Say, this is what I want to do. Putting that out there, having those conversations with your managers, having conversations with other people in the industry, and is really important. And the second is relationships. That this is a business, especially that is so dependent upon those relationships. So, Joe, I want to ask you, what strategies, other than the two that Kevin just mentioned, that I think are really important? Are there any other strategies that you employed as you were developing your career?
Yeah, I think the biggest one that stands out for me is treating my job as is it's my business. Treating Betson as is it's my own business, so to say. I mean, of course, we have people we have to get approvals from and all that jazz, but at the same time, making it as it's your own, and really striving to do what's best for the customer as well as, of course, the company. Probably was the biggest one.
Yeah, that ownership, right? Taking ownership of the position, that it's not just tasks that you're doing. You're taking ownership of what's happening. That's great. That's great.
And secondly, kind of on the same topic is just really diving in and investing. Really creating those relationships with customers, vendors, internally, higher ups, all your counterparts, but really diving into it and making it yours.
Yeah, that's excellent. Okay, so Miss Vicky, let me ask you. When you started out, was your intention, did you think when you walked into that part-time job, which, first of all, what was that part-time job?
Glorified attendant, floor attendant, handing out quarters.
Fantastic. I love it. All right, so you are there part-time, you're handing out quarters. What did you map out where you wanted to go next? Or was it kind of you fell into it, like our friend Christy, who says, I don't know, I looked up and it's been 20 years and this is my career now. Did you map it out?
The first part, no. I kind of lucked into it, but there were parts of it that interested me because that was back when we were actually doing conversion kits. So the guys will remember this that have been around in the industry. It's like you took a box and you just changed out from, one game to another game. And it's not like today where it's plug and play. You really had to make the cabinet and do all the different details. That was just something that appealed to me. And then I saw that and I enjoyed doing that and working with my hands and making something and changing it to a new game and something different. So with that aspect and just taking that, again, seeing the needs, once you get the first probably 10, 15 years went by as a blur. And after that, when I moved to Houston, that's when things really changed and you start getting a little bit more focused and a little bit more dedicated to it, because that's when we started in with the card system. So we switched over from, quarters and tokens to a card system. and you learned, okay, this is how it works. This is what I can do with this. This is so much easier than dropping tickets into a game because, again, now everything is digital. So seeing what you can do and being allowed to do this, and there was 3 or 4 other GMs at the time, with the growth and the expansion of what we could do and just going above and beyond. Okay, we need this need. And then you take it up to, corporate. Okay, we need to do this. We need to do these different ideas and promotions and stuff like that. So you just kind of make it your own and grow with it. You see the need and you just go after it with the passion.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which brings another question. Who here has had a mentor that either they looked up to of, gosh, I want to be like them when I grow up, or that was the more direct mentor that guided you and helped you reach that next stepping stone? Show of hands.
Well, I can speak to that. I mentioned before my experience with Applebee's. My boss at the time, that was back in '97. He has been my boss 4 times since then. So I guess you could call him a mentor. I would call him a mentor, but it goes back to keeping those relationships and developing those relationships over your career. It's important to not burn bridges, even when you're leaving a job. It's important to keep healthy, strong relationships, people that can help get you where you want to get to. But having a mentor and then also being a mentor is both are critical to your career. So if you're not a mentor yet, aspire to be one. Find someone in your company that needs some mentoring and offer your help. And I think you'd be surprised at the response.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, those mentorships are just essential in helping you grow, whether you're the mentor or the mentee. It's definitely something that is really important. And Sonia, I know that you've got a lot of experience in this, and your passion is helping develop those young leaders.
So many things. I was just like, I'm writing notes because I was like, oh gosh. Like, I think that it starts in the very beginning with orientation. Like we're in an industry where we're touching lots of first-time workers. And so from the very beginning in orientation, our company always wanted the GM or the senior person in the building to do the orientation because they could get the message about the culture and that's where you share. Like, this might not be your career. We're excited what you'll do in life, but people start at 16 here and have gone on to be CEOs of Disney. Like, it can be a growth path. And you're stating that from the very beginning of it, right? So they know, oh, well, this could be way more than my summer job that I thought it was going to be, right? And then throughout those different things, like challenging them, like bench strength, working on your people within to be able to do the next job always. And I think they learn so many skills that they take to so many jobs. I still, over 20 something years, have people go, I was sitting in a meeting and this was said, and it reminded me of our crew meeting or something, like those are impactful moments that I think. But I think that's like, it's not just on the ownership group and managers to develop people too, like challenging people. What are they doing for self-development? How do they learn? That really shows you the people that want to grow up and throughout the ranks. It made me laugh when Kevin said that about going after it. I chased Beth for a year. I would listen to podcasts and see things online and send her messages. Oh my gosh, I love this in your podcast. I think she was just like, okay, I'm over you chasing me down because I was the same way. It's like, I didn't want to go back in operations, but I wanted to stay in the industry. So I think it's figuring out what you want and speaking that into existence, finding your right niche. And again, like there's so many different avenues in this for a young person. They might love technical things. You might start in a center and grow and meet people and network over at IAPA and all those things. And now you are an IT director of something. Like, it can be so amazing, the opportunities there for a 16-year-old. I had plenty that started and they were like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. Oh, that's amazing. And then 10 years later, they're like, wait, I've graduated college and I'm still here and I'm loving what I'm doing, right? So they're training and teaching people every day, just not in a teacher capacity. So they still were doing what they wanted to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Sonia. And Keitha, I know that you just posted something, but that importance of mentorship, if you want to speak to how valuable that is for you.
This, I think it's so important. And I mean, I feel like through the years I've had, mentors, um, Beth being one of them. I mean, we worked together back when, days from main event. So just knowing that you have someone that will lift you up and, encourage you. I mean, she'll still say like, Keitha, do XYZ, or, participate in AAMA, and just so that's I'm grateful for that. And I think everyone should have a mentor just that they can go to, and there's just a mutual respect. And I guess I've always valued that throughout my career, and I think that went back up to someone else mentioned in the chat. Staying connected and then the networking. I mean, I think that's what really helped me at DMV was, maintaining my relationships, just throughout my career still. Um, so I think if I were to think of someone off the top of my head, at the professional level, Beth, 100%. And of course, Dave and Buster too were mentors. I mean, when I started, I was 18, 19. When I went back, I was like 25. So, I mean, they just kind of took me under their wing, and, I was able to do things that I would have not otherwise been able to do in my life, and just the experiences that I was given, whether it's, travel or going to special events or sports events or whatever. It's just, they just wanted you to come along and be a part of the family. So I think so it, and you kind of have to, you can't necessarily, you've got to want to have that mentorship too and be open to that. Um, and not think that it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't mean that you're less than or anything else. It's just really important to have that person, that you can go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And those relationships are so key in helping guide us through what is sometimes unknown, right? It's good to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, to be inspired by. If you don't have a mentor, go out and get yourself one. Go find yourself one. Um, as leaders, look around. Who is looking to grow? Who is looking to develop, and offer some help, right? Offer some guidance to them as well. Uh, Miss Vicky, I'm going to ask you, throughout your time and all of the growth that you went through and have gone through in your career to go from a part-time floor attendant to now director of operations and marketing for a very large company. What would you say was the hardest lesson that you learned in transitioning from that part-time position to full-on career?
The fact that you actually have to own it, that you're the one that you're the answer person. When something goes wrong, you have to be held accountable for it. It's on you. How are you going to fix it? This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to, all of a sudden you have the, what are we going to do? Okay, here's what we're going to do. So again, you have to take charge and you have to own it. That was the key. You're not just, the part-timer anymore, and you're asking the manager, Hey, what do I do? Oh, well, now I have to be the shell answer man.
Yeah. Yeah. Stepping up to the plate, right?
Yes.
Being able to, Genevieve's laughing because I'm a baseball person.
I was
so.
no, and I also was thinking it's that moment that you have in your career. You're like, well, who's in charge here? And you're like, oh, me? It's me now? There's that moment. Oh no. Oh, okay.
Yep, absolutely. And one of the things too, in that transition is learning that you're going to mess up and owning it, learning from it, growing, but not being afraid to take that swing,
Right.
right?
It's
Joe, what's an example of a big swing you took?
Just hitting the ground running. I'm an outside sales representative. I cover all of the Southeast pretty much now. I've got a couple guys that help me do that. But I just started out in Orlando, and I hit the ground running and kind of asked for approval after the fact at times, and really went for it and made my way and expanded that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And sometimes, right, that I'm going to ask forgiveness. Sometimes that works, right?
With an
And
educated decision, yeah. It was an educated decision.
Mhm.
You know the outcome, so you can make that shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'm going to ask a question because a lot of times when we start to recognize this is my plan, this is where I'm going, and we've got it mapped out in our heads, and then sometimes things happen, right? Maybe that position that you were really vying for went to someone else, or maybe you got that position and you decided this is not for me. This is not what I want. I wanted that position over there, right? That you have to make a pivot, and you have to make a change. Can somebody talk through how you made a pivot and walked through it to continue on? I'm throwing big questions out there, guys. I'm sorry. You're like, oh, this was not on our list,
Well,
Denise.
I wrote down a couple of notes while you're talking before about sometimes you're good and you got networking and you've got a position, you got a person at the company where you want to work or the position somebody knows. But sometimes you can see from the outside you'd be a good fit with a company, but you don't know anyone inside. And you're going to have to interview for that position. First of all, get the interview. But once you get the interview, just like we do in sales coaching, every time you're in a sales call, make sure and ask for the sale. If you don't, you're certainly not going to get it. When you're in the job interview, make sure that you listen twice, talk once, and that you ask for the job at the end. And then as a final parting, you can say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see me as fitting into this position? And if the number's not what you're expecting, you have one more opportunity to say, well, why did you say that? So those are some key interviewing points in getting the job that you want that we did at the staffing company. We tried to prep people as good as we can. So those are some notes that I thought, which kind of helps you make that pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else have an example of a time that they had to pivot in their career?
Denise, you asked in the chat, I can allow Beth to talk.
Beth has been, for those not on our chat, Beth has been very anxious to jump in. I just wasn't sure if there was a way to have her speak and we could hear her. But Genevieve says that we can. Christy Dillard says, set her free.
I've
All
never
right,
done this
Beth.
before, everyone. So let's see how I'm gonna click the allow to talk button. Beth,
You can't show my face.
do you want me to show your face?
Show my face.
You gotta put I think your camera's off.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, it's fine. I'll just talk. I was like, pick me on that question. Pick me. I'm in my studio and everything, so it would have been really cool, but that's okay. We don't have to show me. So ask the question again. Oh, pivot. Yeah. So it's interesting to know when and how to do that, because I worked on site and then moved from one place to another. And then a big corporation came in and I didn't play well there. And so then I pivoted and I went to work with Dan and sold equipment. And then that was really big. I mean, that was like your deal, Keitha, from going from the location to then going into the vendorship. And then I've made Trainertainment. And it's interesting because I don't know that there's a good way to say I knew this was when I should pivot, or that I had a plan about the pivot and the growth, because I don't know that you can anticipate what opportunities that are out there. Now, Kevin, you were cool because you're like, I was passionate, and it's like you could have a vision for yourself. Until I got to Trainertainment, until I made this place 20 years ago, I don't know that I necessarily had a plan. Heck, I was a Tupperware lady and wanted to be a Tupperware distributor. That was my plan, and that all blew up, and because I got addicted to this industry. And that's the thing. If you're sitting out here and you have entertainment and hospitality in your DNA, well, you're in the right spot. And there's so many things available. I mean, you look around this table of these great partners that we have, and all the things that they've done, and it's yours for the asking. And I think for me, funny enough, it's like when I became unhappy where I was, I knew it was time to change. And I don't know if that's a good litmus test, but what I do know is I always want to be in the position to do the very best work possible for others and for me. Because when I'm doing good stuff for others, when I'm in service of others, that's really that's where I want to be. Now I'm really glad you didn't show me because I cried. Did we get me 3 or 4 minutes in? Sorry. Anyway, I think that if you decide that you're not doing your best, that might be a clue that you should maybe try something else. And if hospitality is in your DNA, there's 1,000 things that you could and can do. So that's all I have. All right. Thank you very much for letting me. I thought I was going to burst.
I know.
Yeah,
You want to stay on the panel, Beth?
No, it's fine. You can mute me because I'll talk, and it's y'all's show. But thank you.
We'll say goodbye to Beth for now.
Well, the Growth Pro group, Denise, be sure and add the group piece, the Growth Pro group, our whole thing. You were saying the Growth Pro like you were using our short version. I like the Growth Pro group, just saying. And I would love information back from our panelists and everybody else about what you think about our brand expansion, because I'm so proud of it.
Bye, Beth.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Beth.
Okay, so in our chat, we also have a couple of folks that are chiming in. And Derwin talking about pivoting from FEC to combining it with movies, which is happening. If you're in on that and have been on that for a minute, you're super smart and able to look into the future, because certainly post-COVID, movie theaters are struggling. And how do you combine these things together with the space is really, really smart. So Derwin says that was a huge pivot. Ended up figuring out writing a movie schedule was like sitting a busy dining room. So there's some skills that transition, right? And that will translate to different things. So that's fantastic. I do want to ask, what are our, when we talk about jobs to careers, what were you planning on being, right, when you took that job, and that then became the career? And I'll start when I started working at a TV station, when my previous career at a TV station when I was in college as a part-time studio camera operator, because I needed beer money like every good college kid does. So that was just, hey, I can, it's part-time. I can make that happen. I get paid. And by the time I left college, I was reporting and producing for that station. So, right, it's not something that I anticipated. But then once I got in it, oh, hey, there's more to this. Genevieve, you started off
I've had a lot of careers, potential careers. I worked in nonprofit event planning. I got my master's in higher education to work in student affairs, to work with college age students. I had a stint in other nonprofit. I also was an overnight camp director. But what is interesting in all of that, mentorship, training, developing people, when I look, there's definitely a through line. Event planning right here, coaching and training folks in event sales and right how to do those kinds of things. There's a lot of through lines there. So it's interesting looking back and I remember this from every stage. What did I like about the work that I was doing? And I think what's great about this industry is, and I had mentioned this in the chat, you talk to people, there's a lot of different types of careers in family entertainment, right? It is such a massive industry. There's a lot to be interested in, and why it's right, talking to people, networking, finding people, finding mentors, and kind of learning what people do, being curious about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Keitha, I know that when you started college, you were going to be a social worker and fell in love with something else, right?
Yes. Yeah. I just, after a couple of years and after driving a van of individuals to an alcohol or to an AA meeting off a roof snow, doing my work, I was like, I, it just didn't feel right. I wanted to help people, and maybe I was just in a not a great place with my life and with my family, and maybe thought that that was a way that I could help others. But I just knew after going through some of the courses and whatnot, I was like, it's just, you have to, such a special individual that can do that and carry the weight of all of that. And then I love fashion. I love clothes. I just love all of that. Just everything about that I love. I worked at Neiman's for a while, at one point just over the holidays, and I don't know, it's just that world is wonderful. And then, but with the merchandising, I mean, the marketing and merchandising really helped me with the Dave and Buster piece. Going back to them and saying, hey, when Corey was like, come back, we can figure something out. We need someone that's specifically in that role. So yeah, I don't know, social work to fashion marketing and merchandising, two totally opposites. But I'm glad I am where I am.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And sometimes you do fall into it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, but when you find your passion, you got to stick with it, right? And find the opportunities, and sometimes create the opportunities to make that the career that you want. We are winding down. We've only got about 10 minutes left, so I don't want to leave without asking, what would you tell people starting out right now? What piece of advice, what words of wisdom, what flag would you want to raise for people to be on the lookout for that are just starting out right now? And I'm going to start with Miss Vicki.
Be a sponge. Always be willing to learn, because that's how you grow. And it's okay to fail. We all fall on our face, and it's okay to make mistakes, but learn and use it as teaching and training tools. But just be a sponge and take advantage of every opportunity that you have to learn.
Awesome. Oh, that is so fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kevin.
I would say you work, act, dress, speak like the job that you want. You don't start in the job that you want. You start on the path to the job that you want. And the key to getting there is you have to look the part, you have to act the part, you have to be the part. That would be my first suggestion. And then my second suggestion is, sometimes starting with small growth companies can really help your career. It doesn't have to be a big company. Sometimes it's the small companies that are about to burst wide open. Those are the companies that can provide you the most opportunity. And the last thing I would say is you're never too old to switch. You know, I'm 68 and I am now on my third career path. So it's never too late.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I've got to piggyback a little bit just on what Vicky said there. Same thing, sponge, but also really just showing an interest in anything and everything within that job, that workforce, that company. So finding out what everybody does and interest in the entire spectrum realm of the company.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Ms. Keitha, what's your piece of advice?
Space that you want to work, or industry that you want to be in, I say go see if there's opportunities or internships maybe. That would be a good way to do that. And as far as, and I just like everyone else says, always continuing to learn. I continue to learn and I've been in the industry 25 plus years. And I think just being a part of, a group that is, have the same interests that you do. But definitely going somewhere where, I mean, I know you can't walk in and, be a nurse and do whatever, but, they have volunteer programs and you can kind of start immersing yourself in where you're wanting to be, I think is a good way to get started within your path at the moment.
Gosh, Keitha, that is so important, especially when you think about nursing or doctors or lawyers or things that you have in your mind. This is what this is going to be. And then you go through all of this schooling and you get into the job and you're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And this is not what I want. And now I've spent so much money and time to pursue this, right? Go out there and immerse yourself first. I think that is such a smart and great thing. Derwin says in our chat, culture is key. Challenge yourself, learn what you love and live it. Ooh, I'm loving that. We've got a couple of really good questions that are on our chat. So I want to take just a couple quick minutes to look at those before we wind down today. And I know that my girl Davy in Burleson, what's up, Davy? Davy's asking about networking in particular, and where do you find those networking organizations?
I want to add too, because Fort Smith GM also talked about opportunities for smaller businesses. So thinking too, right, as smaller businesses that you might not be able to mentor all of your staff or have enough staff to mentor, right? What are the networking opportunities? Where can people thinking big and thinking small with your recommendations?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of networking organizations or, how you network best, who has this is the key.
Picking a local charity.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, picking a local charity. Sometimes you'll be able to find like-minded people, as well as those are the people that are typically donating time and money, and they've typically been successful in their careers. And that's certainly one place you can find successful people and learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I'm sorry, Vicki, go ahead.
Start joining. We've got different networking groups for young professionals, things like that. So go out. We had the different ones for mechanical and technicians. Just find the group that you're interested in and start joining and just start pursuing it.
Absolutely. And, I encourage, if you have the opportunity, and this can be really expensive if your location isn't sending you to the AAMAs, the AEIs, the Bowl Expos, the IAPAs. If you can find a way to get to them or a smaller meeting of those organizations, that's a great place to network. There's also volunteer opportunities within all of these organizations in our industry where you can volunteer to be on different committees where you'll be able to meet a lot of people in our industry and network with them. So it is definitely something that you have the opportunity to meet as many people. And also, you know what? Everybody you meet is your networking. When you're in line at the Starbucks, when you're in line at the grocery store, just talk to folks. And you never know what opportunities can arise from that as well. So listen, guys.
I also want to add, take a look out for scholarships from these organizations. There's a lot of opportunities where you might be able to have someone sponsor you going, or because you volunteered on something, or maybe there's a vendor that allows you to get tickets to something, right, to cover some of the costs. So there's a lot of resources out there as well if you take a look at them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as we're winding down, my friends, I want to thank you so much for being here, for our amazing panelists, for their great insight and what they brought to us, right? Own it, be a sponge, take the swing, right? Step up to the bat, voice it. Voice what you want. Let other people know that that's what you're looking for. And if you haven't done so already, my goodness, find that mentor ASAP. So as we're winding down, we do have a little QR code. I'd love for you to scan it. Let us know how you felt about today's panel and the information that you received. Also, by doing so, you are entering in our 2025 grand birthday giveaway, because Trainertainment is turning 20 this year. Woohoo! And a part of that, of course, as Beth mentioned, is the creation of the Growth Pro group. So we definitely want to hear what you have to say. So please let us know. We do have more Peer Talks coming up. I mentioned we've got performance management in November. You will want to be a part of that for sure. And then, as always, my goodness, thank you to our sponsors, because we cannot do this without them. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our panelists. Some really good information, and I hope that it inspires and helps you grow and develop. So thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Denise, thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.